Yeah, man, go check me out, man. I cover everything, man. We cover MLB, football, basketball, UFC, boxing. We do it all over here, man. So I'm over here on top notch. I cover the Miami Heat, my favorite team. And shout out to Martel.
Go ahead, Johnny.
What's good, y'all? Peace and blessings. Y'all know who I am. I'm A. Johnny the Exposer, straight off the GOAT James Kingdom platform. Big time Miami Heat fan, ready to talk about the Heat. Biscayne in June, y'all.
Go ahead, Nate.
What's up, Nate? You can find me on Twitter at N8 from Ohio, and I'm a longtime Heat fan and ready to dive into this.
So Chilltown, right now the Miami Heat, like with the Jimmy Butler rumors swirling, and just the overall lack of production, just throughout the past few years. What is going on right now with the Miami Heat?
What's going on with the Miami Heat right now is they're still holding on to what was. That's the biggest problem that we have right now. I mean, you got the best years out of Jimmy, and Pat Riley can't see paying him past 35 years old, 60, 55, $60 million. He just can't see it. Otherwise, he would have extended him. So now we're in a space where Jimmy's still playing and he's still in and out of the lineup, but they can't really build any continuity. And because they can't really build any continuity, they can't really get an identity because Jimmy's been in and out of the lineup. And this is the guy who is our guy, by the way. So it's kind of difficult for them to do that. So I think once they move off of Jimmy, then we could get a better idea of what else is necessary.
But you don't also think that this really comes down to Pat Riley and just his overall lack of roster construction? Because when you just look at the overall roster these past few years, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a fluke what they've been doing because you don't get to three conference finals and two NBA finals, and that's just like a fluke. But then at the same time, do you think that Pat Riley has honestly failed Jimmy and Bam when you look at really, no point guard, you have really no legitimate big man behind Bam, and then also too, you have an undersized four next to Bam when he's already undersized.
Well, you have to remember who we're dealing with here. We're dealing with Pat Riley, who's a traditionalist, and he's used to having crews that are together for a long time and building with those crews. And it did work, sure, but he also fell into the trap of what happened with the Trailblazers in 2019. He fell into the trap of what happened with the Atlanta Hawks in 2021, where a team peaks. This is as good as we're going to get with this team. And we have to do something about it, and we have to do something now because other teams are doing something. And he didn't do that. What he banked on was he banked on Tyler Hero getting better. He didn't bank on him getting injured. He banked on Bam getting better. And Bam did get better, but offensively it didn't really work out. He banked on Duncan Robinson getting better, and that's why he paid him, but it didn't really work out. And in terms of upgrading that roster, I don't think he did that. I think that roster, I think in 23, probably 23, that was as good as it was going to get. And the fact that he didn't upgrade, I think that was the disservice to the rest of the crew.
All right, Nate, go ahead.
Well, yeah, Pat Riley was just on the OG podcast not too long ago, and he had expressed on there that it's hard for him to trade away players. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I blame Caleb Martin for a lot of this because he had that crazy Eastern Conference Finals where he could have won the MVP, and then we ended up keeping him, and we let him walk, and we just, as far as like, do I feel like we did Pat Riley, did he fail Jimmy and Bam? Um, I think so. And I would never say this, but I have to admit, I think that he could have done a better job with the roster construction. And which is crazy though, is that Pat Riley's normally he's known for like big man lineups. Back in the 90s, he had Zoe and PJ Brown, Brian Grant, you know what I'm saying? And then now suppose we kind of went to the small ball lineup, and it seemed like that's where we're stuck at. And that was cool for that era, but that's over with. These teams are playing big now, you know.
Nate, I'm not a big fan of letting guys walk out the front door for nothing. In fact, I hate it. And the fact that he just let Caleb Martin walk out the front door. Now, don't get me wrong. There's times when there's addition by subtraction.
Right,
When the
right.
Celtics let Kyrie Irving walk, sure, that was one. I feel like that was an issue. But other than that, I mean, you don't let Caleb Martin walk out the front door for
I, I,
nothing.
I think they thought
No.
Hayward was going to. I thought Hayward was going to, take a bigger leap, and that he was going to kind of step into that role as like the replacement for Caleb Martin. But it's just sad that we're talking about a replacement for Caleb Martin. No knock to Caleb Martin at all. You know what I'm saying? But he, before the Heat, he didn't really have much of an NBA career. But the fact that he came here, he busted his butt and got to where he was, and but it's sad that we're sitting here talking about, a replacement for Caleb Martin.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Can't hear you, Jay. Can't hear you, Jay.
Oh yeah, my bad. I muted myself while y'all were talking. I thought Caleb Martin got the deal that he wanted, but his agent messed it up and dropped the bag. Because isn't that what happened with him? Wasn't it? Didn't Pat Riley give him the money that he was asking for, and somehow his agent didn't accept the deal or something like that, and didn't tell him about it, and then somehow he got it was already too late for us to give him the money because they didn't accept it originally.
No, I don't think it was the deal that he wanted. And then when he went out there to try to test the market to see if he could find a better deal, he
The
didn't.
money was already gone.
Yeah,
Oh,
the money was already gone.
The money was already gone. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Well then, again, I thought, I thought Pat Riley did a great job building the team that we have now. Being that Pat Riley's always been the type of guy to find those diamond in the rough type of players. The Gabe Vincents, the Max Struces, the Caleb Martins, the guys that just could come in and try to make a name for themselves. We kind of have that New England Patriot mentality with Bill Belichick when it was there. Like, we want the stars and we're going to pay you if you're a star and if you're a proven star. But other than that, you're just going to be a role player. You got to put your head down and do the work. I don't like this Jimmy situation. It's obvious we're not going to pay him. So we do have to move him. Like Chill said, don't let him go for nothing. But man, we know we've had a bad reputation since Dwayne Wade. I've talked to this with Martell before about how we basically is letting go of one bird to grab a bird we don't have, and then we end up empty-handed at the end of the day. And then we got Bam Adebayo, who's really our star, and for some reason we're not putting the push to make him the guy. He should be the guy. The problems that we're having right now could be easily eradicated if we just allow Bam to be Bam. But for some reason, Bam is not doing what Bam's supposed to, at least what we all think Bam can do as far as being aggressive and scoring wise. I don't understand why he doesn't do that. But again, I think we're gonna get rid of Jimmy. We're gonna bring in some good pieces to replace Jimmy, and it's probably not gonna be enough to make us a title contender. But who knows? Like I said, this NBA is up in the air. Ain't no telling what can happen by the time we get to April.
Now, really quickly, Jay, with the idea of the dirty work guys, sure, and then you get a star, but over the course of history, you're not winning without stars. Yeah, you ain't winning without Udonis Haslem either. You ain't winning without AC Green. You ain't winning without Marcus Smart. You're not winning without these guys. But we need stars. And don't get me wrong, sometimes my best player is better than your best player. Sure, I get that part. But when we get to that point, we recognize, okay, this guy needs some help because maybe he's not good enough, not himself. Maybe we need somebody to help get him there. Now, we might not need a better player than him, but maybe we just need somebody to help him as opposed to replacing him or getting a better player, because I think you screw with the dynamic of the crew. And I'm thinking about the Miami Heat, and I feel like they kind of just, Jimmy was the guy. Bam didn't really seem comfortable in being the second guy. He just was the more of a dirty work guy. And then it was a bunch of other dirty work guys. And then we saw that in the Denver series where it was clearly my best player is better than your best player in Joker and Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, I was gonna hit that topic. Our three best guys are not number one options on any team. That's where it all starts from. Tyler,
Not Hero.
No.
Yeah,
Tyler
hurt
Hero
my heart right now, man.
Bro, we seen when Tyler Hero, he was the only guy there, and I get it. The Celtics were a juggernaut, but we seen what happened in the playoffs. Outside of that, he struggles. So hell. But what I will say is, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I kind of want to make a reference. Jerry Jones reminds me a lot of Pat Riley. You say New England.
Trent. Whoa.
Chill out.
No. But I told someone that I said, what's the difference between Jerry Jones and Pat Riley? I'm a Cowboys fan too.
So Jerry Jones is the type of guy, he wants to draft, develop, get these undrafted players, and then never go in free agency and go after the big names. Or if he does, he gets them 5 years later when they're washed up. You look at the Miami Heat, you're relying on undrafted players. You're relying on players that you want to get out the mud. Drew Smiths, and I like Drew Smith, prayers out to him. Isaiah Stevens, who just got on the two-way, which I'm pretty sure he's going to start playing a little bit more. The Kashad Johnsons, the Caleb Martin, the list continues to go on. And when you're trying to win a championship in this day and age, like you said, Chill Time, you need stars. Look at the Boston Celtics. They got a ton of talent. But not only But not only that, they drafted, but they added valuable role players around their star players, like a Drew Holiday, like a Derek White, and like a Porzingis, and that's why they went out there and win championships. You look at the Miami Heat, who's our role players. Duncan Robinson's inconsistent every single year. You get a good stretch of him that he sucks this week. Haywood Highsmith, inconsistent. We have too many inconsistent players. Then you got Jimmy Butler in and out the lineup. So there's not going to be no consistencies with the Miami Heat ever in the regular season. That's why we're either a playing team or we're fighting to get in the play-in. But
we dealt with injuries the last 2 years. Duncan's been hurt the last 2 years. Hero's been hurt the last 2 years. Jimmy's been hurt the last 2 years.
But that's my point. You're proving my point, though, because injuries are going to happen in the NBA no matter what. Celtics, Cavs, these teams deal with injuries. If you have the right appropriate pieces around your team, you can still contend and compete a little and win games because your star players are not going to play all the time. We all know that. Look at the Clippers. The Clippers right now, Kawhi Leonard been out, and James Harden is with a bunch of role players, and they're just stepping up playing good basketball.
Don't get Chilltown started on the Clippers.
It's the truth. It's the truth. You need valuable role players to win championships. And the last thing I'll say, this is kind of going back in the day, the San Antonio Spurs. They had all those role players that helped Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan win championships. Boris Diaz, Patty Mills. So you need role players
together for like 8 years too.
Well, two things, Nate. Number one, when you talk about the Miami Heat in terms of them being a play-in team, that was just recently. Let's be clear. In 22,
exactly.
When you lost
best record in the East,
number one.
Number
when you
one
was in the finals, you were the number 5 seed, right? And in 23, I mean, I hear a logic of the injuries. I mean, Bam played 77 games that year. I think Max Strus, he played close to 70 games that year. Kyle Lowry, he played over 60 games. So I mean, sure, guys were in and out of the lineup, but you had them more than you didn't. Jimmy Butler, this is nothing new. Jimmy Butler over the last 10 years averages 60 games a season over the last 10 years. So we know who Buckets is. So it's not like this is something where he's starting to wear down. We already knew that anyway. He was doing that anyway. But the fact that you've already gotten everything that you've gotten out of him over these last 5 years and you didn't upgrade the roster when the iron was hot, that's where the biggest problem is. Because I appreciate the idea of you talking about Pat Riley and Jerry Jones, but I mean, number one, Pat Riley is not in front of the camera nearly as much as Jerry Jones. We can start and stop the conversation right there. Number two, Pat Riley, he will make moves, but I feel like Pat Riley likes to develop his guys more. Like, for example, Tyler Hero, homegrown. Bam, homegrown. I mean, these guys are all. I think Tyler Hero's going to make the All-Star team this year. So. Bam is an all-league defender. I thought Bam was going to be an all-pro this year. He's been very disappointing this season for me. But with that being said, I mean, Riles hits a lot. Now, I know where you at, Jay. Did he drop the ball last summer with Damian Lillard? Was Damian Lillard the difference?
Was it him, though? Was it really our fault? Was it our fault we couldn't get Beal? Was it our fault we couldn't get Damian Lillard? It really wasn't.
Well, I'll stop you right there, like Johnny, because I don't want Beal. Beal's another fraudulent guy. I don't want Beal at all. I think that with Damian Lillard, you had the NBA media blocking that trade completely because think about it. James Harden, Kevin Durant, they can get to pick and choose and hold out and pick where they get to go. And then Damian Lillard says he wants to go to Miami, and then he looks in the mail, and there's a letter that says that he can't say Miami, like the Miami Heat only. So I just think that Pat Riley, he was also trying to fleece a little bit. I don't think he put it all out on the table. I think that Damian Lillard is still a solid player. I think that he would have fit well next to Jimmy and Bam. I just think with the NBA media and then along with, I don't think Pat Riley put everything out on the table. I think he wanted to keep Tyler Hero. That's just my personal opinion. But
he definitely wanted to keep Tyler.
Yeah.
Now, I'm telling you what Pat Riley's aiming for.
You give Tyler Hero up for Damian Lillard.
But here's the thing, though. We're forgetting, though, that Portland at one point started asking for Jimmy and Bam.
I don't believe that.
The Bam part, I believe. The Buckets and Bam, I don't believe that part.
No. They're not both of them, but they were saying, like, okay, well, give us Bam. Like, they started really kind of being a little, like, unreasonable at one point, though. And even there was a
nobody wants to give Pat Riley a team. Nobody wants to give us Pat Riley a team because Pat Riley.
That's LeBron's fault. That's LeBron's fault.
That's not LeBron. See, look here. Y'all go. Here we go.
He is right. No, but Nate is right, though.
It's the media's fault that they thought that LeBron set that up when in reality that was Pat Riley's moving all the way.
The league hated on us though for that, and we've been hated ever since.
Yeah, because of Pat Riley.
Go look at what the package that they gave that Boston just gave up for Kristaps Porzingis, we
That was
wouldn't
a
have
bucket
gotten
of
that
extra
same
crispy
deal.
and a six pack.
We
That was a
wouldn't
bucket
have-
of extra crispy and a six pack.
If that was us, they would have been asking for the whole farm. If it was Pat Riley, even they gave Drew Holiday to Boston just to get back at us.
That's
Nate,
where I'm upset. Now
Nate,
that one I'm upset with Pat Riley. That
Nate,
one right there, he should have been able to make
Nate,
sure Boston didn't snatch
Pick
that guy
up
up.
the
That
telephone
was
and call up the Trailblazers and ask for Drew Holiday.
But if they don't want to
Exactly.
keep the Dame
And
Chill
ask for Drew
Town,
Holiday.
how could you make a deal for Drew?
One more time.
That if they didn't even want to deal with us with Dame, so the biggest thing, like on the Miami Heat, media side, everybody was saying is that the Trailblazers did not want to speak with the Miami Heat at all.
No, they
Right.
stopped answering the phone.
They stopped
That's
answering the phone because
And
the
we-
media was saying, "Don't let Pat Riley fleece you," even
Right.
though, you know what I'm saying? Even
They
though
were hating, man. It was
Damian
that was some
Lillard was the
nasty
most
work.
loyal guy. Everyone else gets to pick and choose. You're telling me that Jaime and Jovic isn't better than what they got? Because they would have also have gotten what's the big dude?
Where?
No.
no, he
Robinson,
wasn't.
Orlando Robinson.
No, from the Blazers. No, I'm sorry, from the Phoenix Suns. Like who also?
Oh,
was
Aiden. Oh, DeAndre
They
DeAndre
would have
Aiden.
gotten Aiden anyway. So you're telling me that Jaime and Jovic and possibly Tyler wouldn't have been better going into the future with the Trailblazers than what
Yeah,
they
because-
got?
Because they traded Nurkic and Aiden up straight up. That was a straight up trade. So that
So
even,
even with
that
that-
even involved us.
Sure, Nate, I can definitely get with that. But what you have to do later on, okay, we dropped the ball. When Drew is getting to Portland, where we know for a fact he is not putting on a Trailblazer uniform, call the Trailblazers back and ask him what they want for him. Stop playing games. Because of
Exactly.
course, when Damian,
He would've
because
been
when
perfect.
when Damian Lillard is on the table, of course they want maximum value. Okay, you have
Yeah.
leverage here. Drew Holiday is not putting on a Portland Trailblazers uniform. So now
Right.
Facts.
you have some space to work with Drew Holiday, as opposed to Damian Lillard, who's still under contract for 3 more years. So they're going to be looking for substantial compensation because of that. Drew Holiday is up there, and the fact that you got to deal with the Boston Celtics, pick the damn phone up and call up the Trailblazers and ask for him.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
That's what you should have
That's
did.
true.
But again,
Yeah.
I think Pat Riley's doing the same thing he did back in 08. Because y'all remember we had the worst record in the NBA back then. People were like, why is Pat
Yeah.
Riley picking up these players? Why is he getting Dang and all these weird players that we were getting in the late 2000s, all that? Because he was preparing for this offseason. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Pat Riley sees the writing on the wall. He is going after Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards will be available. And he is going to make a pitch for Anthony Edwards in the offseason. I think if not, it's the next offseason after this one. I
I would
guarantee
like
you.
him over Fox. I really would.
Yeah,
Jay,
but guys,
Jay, I'm not shaking my head like you're wrong. I'm shaking my head because I'm thinking about Pat Riley sitting in the room with LeBron James and throwing them rings on the table and saying, "What do you want?" He's going to do the same thing with Anthony.
And mind you, he planned that same meeting 3 years prior. He knew exactly what he was going to do in 2010. He knew
Yeah.
he was going to have that chance in 2010. So he said, you know what? We're going to dump the roster. We're going to trade Shaq. We're going to get rid of all these things. We're going to clear up cap space. And the thing was, remember, we had that issue with Bosch. Remember, we had paid Bosch this big money, and then he got hurt. So we still have to pay him. That lasted us till like 2020. Then we had to amnesty him and do those things. And that's how come we had the type of roster we had now. That's how we got Jimmy. But I believe what he was trying to set up was to bring somebody alongside Jimmy and Bam since 2021 and 2020. But they just never had it happen. And right now he sees the writing on the wall. Why am I going to pay Duncan Robinson and resign him, Tyler Hero, Jimmy? I'm going to trade them because when Anthony Edwards is available, I'm going for that. And that's the thing about Pat Riley that always gets me upset. He is looking for the star, but he's always letting go of what he has for the sake of reaching for something he doesn't have yet. He did it with Kevin Durant in 2016. He could have swore he was going to get Kevin Durant. We shortchanged Dwayne Wade trying to get Kevin Durant. It didn't
He's
work
still
out.
on record. Rouse is on record saying his biggest regret is the way he handled Dwayne Wade's contract.
Because didn't
He
we
said-
give that money to Whiteside?
You gave that money to Hassan
Whiteside.
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 Yes, you did. You gave that money to
Snapchat
Hassan
king.
Whiteside.
But Johnny, though, speaking about money, do you believe in paying players for what they've done in the past? Because this is like a whole panel.
Ooh.
Because there's a lot of Jimmy Butler fans that are saying, well, he took us to the NBA Finals. Well, he took us here and he took us there, and they never gave him any help. Once again, I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, but he's the one that wanted Kyle Lowry, and Kyle Lowry didn't work out. And then even when he was working out,
Kyle Lowry worked out. It was just too late. It was just too late. We got him at the tail end. If we would have had Kyle Lowry a few years
2 years.
before,
2 years.
oh
2
my
years.
God.
What I'm saying is, in the grand scheme of things,
Yes.
the fact that he had an attitude, And then even when he was on his way out, he didn't want to shoot the ball. He was beefing with Pat. He was beefing with Pat like in year 1 about his weight. When he
has to.
That's what he signed up for.
But you got to do with Pat. Pat has to realize this is no longer the 90s.
No.
These players.
That has nothing
That's
to
what
do
I'm
with the
saying.
90s.
But see, that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
You're telling me that these guys get paid millions of dollars, and God forbid that they're actually in shape. I'm not. Listen, Kyle Lowry will never be in shape, but you guys know exactly what I mean.
No,
Pat
That's always been what's going on with Pat Riley.
Riley's been obsessive with it. Chilltown will tell you, Shaq made jokes about how he used to put oil on him so that when they try to measure him after practice, they couldn't do it because he wasn't never in shape.
But they knew what. No, what I'm saying is he knew what he said.
And no, wait. It wasn't that Shaq wasn't in shape. He wasn't in Miami culture shape. There's a difference.
Yeah.
There's being in shape and then there's being in Miami culture shape. There's a difference, bro.
100%.
That's what I'm saying. You have to be different. Pat Riley has to understand that the NBA players today are their own brand. Some of these dudes are bigger than the actual franchise.
But
When Jimmy
Butler
go
to do that.
He's not allowing
allowing Jimmy
it.
Butler
Pay
to do that.
Jimmy his money. He earned it. You give these players their money.
So
You
hold on,
give
let
it
me
to them.
ask this
That's
big
it.
question. Let me ask this question then. Do you guys believe in paying people for the past when after the bubble they gave Jimmy $150 million? Also, they knew he's going to be in and out of the lineup. He's going to be trolling, and guess what? It's coming out now in Chilltown. You're going to see all these Miami guys are reporting. We all know that Jimmy Butler is not the easiest person to deal with. Is he a devil? No. But I'm saying is it's been reported. Guess what? He's at different hotels than the team, and he gets other privileges that LeBron James, D Wade, and Chris Bosh never got. So
Why
back
wasn't
to
he in
Johnny.
Atlanta? Why wasn't he in Atlanta? Why wasn't he there today? He was
Okay,
back
then,
home.
Johnny.
He was back home rehabbing.
That was gonna happen.
No, but
That was
Johnny,
gonna happen.
he
What
gets
did y'all
it,
think
yeah,
was gonna
he
happen? This is
broke
Jimmy.
They do that. They did it with Kevin Love at the beginning of the season.
They're
too.
giving him special treatment to Johnny, so we can't just
Yes.
say, "Oh, it's
Yes.
a drill sergeant mentality."
Yes.
No, they're convenient with him.
Yes, give him the special treatment. Jimmy Butler is the epitome of Heat culture. This is
Man,
what
he
you're
don't
selling.
deserve
You're
no
selling the
special
future
treatment.
of the franchise to the players that are trying to come to your
I know
franchise.
that's right,
If you're going to sit here and try to dictate to players who are their own brand how to live their life, you're going to lose out on the star players that y'all claim we need to win championships. These guys are bigger than the team. Jimmy Butler earned the right to get those things. These guys are bigger than the team. Jimmy Butler makes more money outside of the Heat when he goes to Asia every summer.
So with that being said, Jay, I can appreciate the logic of how you feel about buckets. Jimmy Butler is not a Miami Heat. Dwayne Wade is a Miami Heat. Alonzo Mourning is a Miami Heat. Those guys are Miami Heats. So if I'm gonna pay guys, what I equate it to, because I call it thank you money. That's what the Lakers did with Kobe Bryant at the end. The thank you money. Thank you for everything that you did, and we're gonna make this money back on the farewell tour. We're gonna make this money back when you retire. We're gonna make all of this money back when we get off of you. A guy like Jimmy Butler, I don't think Jimmy Butler is a Miami Heat. After 5 years, no. I think he played for the Miami Heat 100%. I don't think he is a Miami Heat like Alonzo Mourning is. I don't think he's a Miami Heat like Dwayne Wade is. No. So there's no thank you money for him. That's why Pat Riley can't see at 37, 38 years old, paying him $55 million. He can't see it. And I don't blame him, especially after what I'm seeing now, where I'm seeing a guy who's only playing 60 games a year on average. So now I got a guy that's 37, 38 years old, and he's $55 million on my cap. That's probably a third of my cap. And he's hardly playing, and I'm paying him that? No.
But he plays 60 games in the regular season, but he's really trying to prepare himself and keep himself for the 16 games that really matter, though. That's really
No,
what it
but
is.
hold on.
And not only that, remember, you just brought up Dwayne Wade, you brought up Alonzo Mourning, you brought up Udonis Haslem. 3 players that the Miami have slighted in their careers. Again, today's Heat for the players, that's why we didn't go after Harden, because we don't like players that are bigger than the team. Again, you cannot be this way. No, it's not going to work. That's why we were able to get Jimmy, because Jimmy had that attitude when he was in that free agency in 2019. He had that attitude. No other team really wanted to deal with Jimmy because they knew if you don't make Jimmy happy, you're gonna have a problem on your hands. So we're gonna give this guy $200 million, and he gets mad after a year. Then what's gonna happen? So he needed a team that had culture and structure. That's why he loved the Heat, and we signed him.
Sure.
The NBA players today, the star players, know Miami is cheap, Miami's strict. All of these things, you have to get this title off of you so that we can get the real stars to help us win. That's not going to work no more. Gilbert Arenas made fun of us, telling us that there is no real Heat culture. The Heat culture was LeBron. The Heat culture was Shaq.
But Jay, I'm trying to make sense of your logic here, because on the one
Uh-huh.
hand, you're telling me that these guys are a business, but we don't want guys like James Harden who are a bigger deal than the crew. But then you want Jimmy Butler, who
Uh-huh.
can be a bigger deal than the crew, and you want to re-sign him. So
No,
I'm trying to figure out what your logic is.
I want to fix the reputation that the Heat have with the players. The players know that going to the Heat is a big time sacrifice with either your money, your lifestyle, or whatever it is. That is not it's not enough to just go play for Pat Riley. Dropping those rings on the table is no longer a big issue anymore. You have to give the players what they want, what they need to see, because you have to tell them, yo, we're going to win championships, but you're still able to grow your brand and be you.
But Johnny,
Not-
they're letting him do that though. Like I said,
No,
listen,
they're not.
he
And
gave-
if you're
hold on,
letting
wait,
them
wait,
go,
wait.
you're not doing that. That's why he's mad.
He gave him $150 million after the bubble, no questions
Yes.
asked.
Okay.
It's been reported they
Mhm.
are letting him do things that Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James could never do. Pat Riley took the cookies off the plane, and he's not doing those little antics. Jimmy Butler stays in completely different hotels than the Miami Heat.
That's
He's
this
running
year
around
or
every
last year?
season
Because
on the road.
I didn't
He's
hear those
running around
reports
with
last year.
Entourage and
But
doing all these different things that,
So-
that LeBron James.
I didn't hear about those reports last year. That happened this year.
No.
That's
It's been happening.
That's been happening. But
It's been happening. But listen,
here-
if you're in the Miami Heat circle, like me, Trent, and Nate, like every day we're in the beat, like we're listening to the beat reporters. I am on YouTube every day with this stuff. They're letting him do stuff that LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade could never do. That's why. Listen, Pat Riley sat down with Bernie and Jimmy, I think 2 years ago, and said, "Yo, how can we get you to play more games?" He hasn't been doing it, so he came out and told Jimmy Butler to shut his mouth and he needs to play more. And then now he's mad. He tried to handle it behind closed doors. They're letting him do everything.
I didn't know that.
You're
I didn't
telling
know
me
Pat
that
Riley had an
he's
issue
not
with his
good?
game playing. I didn't know that
Yeah.
because I could have sworn Jimmy was playing games.
But Jay, real quick, Nate, and stay right there, Nate. Stay right there. But Jay, how would you not know that, considering who Pat Riley is? Pat Riley had Jabbar on his
'cause
team, who in 1989 was 42 years old. He played 80 games. 80.
Yeah.
Played 81 games at 41 years old. Why would he not have an issue with Jimmy Butler barely playing 2/3
No,
of the
he said
season? Why would
he
not have
said
an
two.
issue with
He
that?
said he said 2 years ago. That's what I'm talking about. Recently,
No,
No,
it
it
was
was
2 years ago.
it was the
Last
start of
year?
last season. Yeah.
I'm sorry if I interrupted you, Nate. Go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
you good.
Yeah.
No, so okay.
I'm listening.
Martel, you asked the question. You said, do we believe in paying a guy for? Okay, every extension is predicated upon what you've done to earn that extension, and that's how I look at it. I think it's different because Jimmy, he's going to be 36 years old next season, so it kind of, it's not like he's 30 anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I get that notion, but my thing is, we have seen what he has done with this organization, and I'm going to be honest with you. Wade had a better roster in 06 than any of these rosters Jimmy had.
100%. I won't argue that.
And he carried these boys to the finals. And,
Wade had a better roster in 16. If Chris Bosh stays healthy, they better.
He did. So
But to ask you a question, Nate, how many more years of this buckets do we have in your estimation?
Considering that he's not playing 82 games, I think he can do another couple of years with this if given the right players around him. I don't want Jimmy
in 5 years, Nate.
Points.
I mean, what else you looking for?
No,
You've seen
no,
it's
no.
been 5 years now.
But that's what I'm saying though. That's not a knock to Jimmy.
But
You know
it's
what I'm saying?
going this
Because
way, though. It's not like we're here and we're doing this.
I
No,
don't-
we're going
I don't
this
really-
way. Like you just
I don't-
said,
I really don't
buckets is
think-
36.
It is, but he doesn't. Okay, if you look at how he's playing, what it looks like, it does
Sure.
kind of looks like he's declining a little bit. But again, he has shown he's had some pretty decent games this year already. But the offense is different now. Like it's more guard. It's Tyler and Duncan now. When you look at how they're playing, it's a lot of dribble handoffs with Bam, Duncan, and Tyler.
Sure.
Facts.
So the offense is different now. You know what I'm saying? There are some games where it's getting out of control, and Jimmy's like, all right, let me do this. Let me foul bait and get to the free throw line. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying pay Jimmy the max money. Now that I will. I
That's
am
what he
against
wants,
that.
though, Nate. That's what he wants. He ain't playing for
Who
less
we
than
go?
that.
Who
I
is going to
didn't
get
see
the
that.
max money? We're not going to pay Jimmy the max. Who gets the max?
It
Bam.
better not. No.
Why? Bam
No.
never made an All NBA team. He got the max that he's going to get. Bam's not getting more money than he's already getting. That's it. Who else is supposed to get it?
So hold on, guys. Speaking of Bam Adebayo, because there's a lot of people right now that are really upset at Bam. You know, his numbers have been down a little bit. There's people saying that Bam needs to even be traded and he's trash and all these different things. So Trent, what do you think about Bam Adebayo this season? I still think though that this Miami Heat team has not maximized. Since what I mean by that is they're not putting the right players around him. You're telling me that he has no legitimate backup five and no four next to him. So Trent, what are we supposed to do with Bam Adebayo going forward?
It's a few things. You get him involved a little bit more, but two, it's on Bam. It's on Bam.
What is he gonna do when he does get involved?
No, because I've seen plenty of times Bam gets the ball and he's just like hands it off. It's a pick and roll. It's like, yo, you need to be more aggressive. You need more shot attempts. There's games where Bam is finishing the game with 8 shot attempts. He is that talented to give you 22, 23, and 10 every single night. But like you said earlier, the offense is really, it doesn't help him, but there's times where you need to dominate. I see Anthony Davis, I see Jokic, I see Joel Embiid. Whenever they want to dominate, they dominate. And so defensively, you can say, well, Bam's this and that. That's cool. We know he's going to bring offensively. If we want the next leap, and especially if he's our future with Tyler, he's going to have to shoot the ball way more. Miss or make, I need him more aggressive. When you just watch him play, I just want to throw these numbers out there real quick, and I'll let y'all talk. There's a game where he shot 8 attempts, 10 attempts, 12 attempts, and it's getting higher and higher, but there's no way a game you go 6 for 8 and 14 points. That's unacceptable. It's efficient, but we need more shots, more aggressive. You got paid all this money. I need to see a little bit more. So, yeah, get him more involved in the offense, and he needs to be more aggressive.
Is it fair to say that the way that Bam plays is by design? That's just how Bam is.
It's a combination of both. I think both things can be true. I think this is who he is, but I think because again the offense looks way different this year. It's Tyler almost can kind of get off whatever he wants to. That's what it seems like. And Duncan's getting off. Have you guys seen the usage rating of these players? Like I saw a game where Jaime was like 25%. And I'm just like, what are we doing? But I don't.
I told Chilltown. I gave it a call. It worked for a week. I don't know what happened afterwards. As soon as Asia Wilson got involved into this man's life,
man,
we got issues. The man goes home happy. When you got that sweet nectar like Asia Wilson at home, you ain't worrying about only getting 9 rebounds and 15 points. The day is all right. She says, baby, everything is fine. I agree with Trent. He is not aggressive. There's too many times we see Bam grab the ball at the elbow or in that wing spot just about 20 feet away from the rim, and he's just standing there waiting to see who's going to come get this dribble handoff instead of putting the ball on the ground and attacking his man and forcing the defense to collapse so he can still get that same three-pointer. I'm watching
shooting fadeaways over
exactly
6'3" guards.
I'm watching Tyler Hero take 30-footers outside of the offense. It's not like that's within the offense. Just within the game that we saw today, I saw Tyler Hero pick up his dribble to make a pass, and his defender I decided to let him go, and Tyler Hero took a 35-footer and drained it because he was like, "Oh, you're gonna give it to me? That's fine." And I think Bam it is by design that he's not supposed to be aggressive because he is our only ball facilitator. We had to move Hero to point guard to give us a little bit better offense these last couple of weeks.
That's been
I don't like that.
Yeah, that's what's killing us.
If you talk about the Miami Heat offense, for example, they're one of the best long ball shooting teams in the league. That's statistically a fact. They're one of the best long ball shooting teams in the league. The problem that we're having with the Miami Heat offense, okay, number one, they play with one of the slowest paces in the league. So when you play with a slow pace, you know what you don't get? You don't get easy buckets. You don't get runouts. You don't get action like that when you play with a slower pace. When you got athletes like Bam, when you got athletes like Highsmith, you got athletes like Tyler Hero who shoots the long ball and Duncan Robinson who shoot the long ball. You need to play with a faster pace. Well, the reason why you're not playing with a faster pace, number one, you don't have a lead guard to push the pace because the lead guard you got in Scary Terry, he's not the facilitator like Ty. I don't think I'm looking at Tyrese Halliburton to that caliber, but you need something better than what you have, and you need something better than what you have in Scary Terry. You need a guy. Now,
I
hold on,
said that.
hold on,
I've been
hold
said
on,
that.
hold on.
I've
What
been
did he
said
say?
that. I've
Jay
been
said
said
this to
that.
me.
What did he say?
They said this to me over the summer. He said, "Chill. Russell Westbrook is available, and I know you don't love him, but Russ is going to make the game faster. He's going to push the pace, and we'll get a lot more easier. We'll get easier opportunities to score." And I kind of scrunched my face up to it because I know who Russ is, and I know what's going on in Miami in terms of Spoelstra. But when I look at how slow they play, I'm thinking to myself, they do need a fast-paced lead guard, somebody to speed up the game, and I think that would enhance. I think that would enhance Bam. I think that would enhance Tyler Hero, as good
It
as he
would.
is. I think that would enhance guys like Duncan Robinson because we're getting better looks.
And look,
Our best offense is really on a fast break is when Tyler's shooting transition threes, and I absolutely I hate that. But we can't. Have you seen this team on a 3-to-1 fast break? And we blow these fast breaks. We can't make layups for nothing. I don't know what's going on with that. But we can't. We can play at a faster pace all we want to, but we are not finishing at the basket.
Yeah, we
No,
don't have
even-
good.
even-
We don't
even
have
to
good
look-
penetrators. We don't have good finishers and good penetrators.
But-
Highsmith is our best cutter, right? Then we have Highsmith, right? But prior to that, we had good cutters like a Caleb Martin, like a Derrick Jones Jr. And then we had Kyle Lowry, who knew exactly when to speed up the pace and slow up the pace, like Chilltown was saying. We don't have that right now, and that's what's killing. And then we don't have Jimmy because Jimmy's that guy. Jimmy's the guy that gets to the free throw line that can
Settles it down.
settles things that we don't have. Everything like you said is all long ball. It's all trying to get Duncan Robinson the open 3-pointer. Even Rozier, it's a step back 3 for Rozier. Dribble, step back 3. That's all we're seeing from him.
I'd rather see him shoot that than going to the hole.
No, I want him to go to the hole more. I want him to attack the basket more because we don't have no one doing that. That's a space we need to fill. That's a void that's just
Right.
that's
It's
killing
a good
us.
idea, but he is. I think I can finish at the basket with a blown out Achilles better than Terry Rozier right now. So I want him shooting step back threes. That seems like that's more efficient.
Y'all
than
don't
layups.
understand. Y'all don't understand how just the threat of him going to the paint
Yeah,
is
I
enough.
get it.
It has nothing to do with him being able to finish. It's just the idea that now
it
I
collapses
gotta
the
guard him.
defense.
Exactly. I have to guard that. Now I have to pay
Right.
attention to the Heat when we're doing this. We don't have to worry about Bam going to the paint. We don't have to worry about Highsmith, even though Highsmith shoots the 3 well. But he's supposed to be the slasher. He's supposed to be the guy we can throw the lob to. We don't have nobody that can attack the paint, and the only guy that can do it is Bam, and he's shooting less than 50% from that. I mean, I don't even know what to say about Bam anymore. I just
But
want to get rid of
I don't
Asia
think
Wilson.
this is okay, Trent. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All what y'all saying is, and listen, I'm gonna be a little biased. As you see back behind me, I got his jerseys behind me. I don't know if y'all can see it. Everything y'all just said
Westbrook.
is literally Westbrook does, and
Yes.
we're not getting him. He's flourishing in Denver.
Yes.
But going back to Bam real quick, just looking at his numbers, his 2-point percentage is down. This is the lowest throw of his career. His 2-point attempts are down. Everything is just down. His free throw attempts are down. That just shows lack of aggressiveness. Because, bro, the way how talented you and dude, I want to show you exactly what Bam does. He gets in this right here, in range. He got a 6'4" guard on him, and he's fading. Get your ass in the paint and body somebody, bro. Like, why is it that hard to do?
I think
Trent,
that's
don't
what
leave- Trent,
I
Trent,
think. I
don't-
think
Trent, don't leave out that when he's dribble handoff, the big man is 4 feet away from him. By the way, don't leave that part out. Please,
they're not even
leave
guarding him.
that. Don't leave that. But what I don't want to do is I don't want to relegate this to just Bam because we also have some misses in the rotation. I mean Larson isn't giving me what I thought he was going to give me. I mean Jokic, I thought Jokic would be better. He kind of gives me a soft vibe, and I don't like that when I think about Euros. He kind of gives me a bit of a soft vibe, and I think he could be tougher than what he is. And their backup lead guard, I mean Kevin Love. If I'm dependent on Kevin Love in order to get me bench points, then we're in trouble. We're 100% in trouble. So
Alec Burks.
I'm not really. Even though I like Alec Burks,
Nah, Burks is
Jaime Jaquez hasn't really shown me more this season. I talked to Martell months ago about this. Any of y'all who know me, I was out on buckets. I wanted to build this thing around Bam. I wanted to upgrade at the lead guard spot. I was good at Tyler Hero at the 2. I wanted to keep Jaime Jaquez at the 3. I wanted to put Bam at the 4, and I want to start this big kid Ware at the 5. I don't care that he's young. Put him out there. It's the only way he's gonna learn. That was that's what it was in my estimation. The only way he's gonna learn is if you put him out there. Goes back to Jay's point that maybe they are looking toward later on down the line when guys like Anthony Edwards, his contract is up, and building it around a star. Maybe that's what the plan is, because what's going on right now, this is a first round exit team.
So guys, hold on real quick, because yes, like we're talking Miami Heat, but we also want to talk about the NBA and hit 3 major points. So Chilltown, why do you think that the NBA viewership is going down? What do you think is going on with the league? Like, I just think that they've gotten away from the competitiveness. They've gotten away from just some of the traditional stuff, like the Christmas jerseys, just the stuff, or the Christmas commercials. Like, they're getting away from certain things. They're not highlighting all the stars, when this league is full of stars. You have a lot of great stars, and they're still, don't get me wrong, LeBron James, Curry, and Durant, they're all great, but they won't be here forever. So why do you guys think that the viewership is going down?
I think one of the major reasons why is because we don't have James, we don't have Jordan, we don't have Shaq, we don't have Bryant, we don't have a face of the league, we don't have somebody to identify with. And the reason why we don't is because the NBA, I feel like they're picking the wrong guys. I mean, we tried it with Ja, that didn't work. We tried it with Zion. Turns out he's made of glass. We tried it with a number of different guys, and it just hasn't worked out. And the face of the league, who I'm thinking about, I don't think we've met him yet, but I think that's the thing that's missing the most. Because if you think about when in the 1990s, in the 2000s, and also in the 2010s, when you had James, you had a face to identify with. And when you had that face to identify with, what that did was that attracted you to other guys. Trent is a Russell Westbrook fan. Well, when Trent being a Russell Westbrook fan, you know what Trent found out? They got a big guy on their team named Ibaka. He good too. So that's the way you find out about other people. You get that one guy to draw you in, and then that brings attention to the other guys in the league. Well, we don't have that. We got a bunch of different, we got a menu of a bunch of different foods, and they don't even know what to feed us. And that's the problem that we're having right now. I feel like if we had a star that we can gravitate toward, because remember, Martel, James 40, KD 36, Russ 36, Curry 36, Jimmy Butler 35, Damian Lillard 34, Chris Paul 39, James Harden 35. In the next 3 to 5 years, DeMar DeRozan 35. These guys are going to be gone. It's time to put the camera more on Jason Tatum. It's time to put the camera more on Giannis and on these Euros. And the reason why is because what's going to happen when all of these guys are gone? You're going to have a starless. It's not that you're going to have a starless league. What you're going to have is you're going to have a league where you don't identify who the guys are, right? And sure, I think we need to put Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball in some etiquette classes, because when we turn the microphone on, it gets a little tricky. But we can fix that. I don't think that's a problem, Jay. We can fix that. I don't think that's a big deal.
Etiquette for
I don't care about that boy. That boy from
Yeah.
Georgia, baby. Them Georgia boys.
And we can fix that. We can clean them up. That's not a problem. We can fix
I love
that.
it. I love it though.
We can definitely fix that. But other than that, man, I feel like the NBA needs to, just like you just talked about with Pat Riley, I feel like the NBA needs to start looking forward, because these guys in the next 3 to 5 years, they're all going to be gone, Martel. Not 1 or 2 of them. All of these guys are going to be gone in the next 3 to 5 years. And who's going to be the guys that we building this thing around?
Trent, go ahead.
So what I would say, I agree with what he said. So I want to kind of go a different way about it. I would say the problem is NBA is getting greedy. If you notice, a lot of this stuff is, I need League Pass. I need Hulu. I need this. I need Netflix. They're making us go to 15 different places to watch basketball games, and so is the NFL. And I think some of it is we watch streams on our laptops. That's not going to count as views, I don't believe. If you get what I'm kind of coming at, yeah, right? Because sometimes I do. Like I live in Boston. It don't let me watch Celtics games here. It don't make sense to me. It don't watch no Celtics games.
On NBA TV, if the Heat are playing on NBA TV, it's blacked out.
Yeah, so there's certain things that we're doing that the NBA probably doesn't want us doing, because they're like, yo, watch this, watch that. So I would kind of go on that side of the sense, like, yo, we're watching the game, just not how you want us to watch it, because you got us going over 15 different places. So I'll go to that side. But in reality, it's really about, we need that top guy. And who is it? Like you said, John Morant's over here playing with guns. Zion's over here messing with porn stars. You got Wemby, who I think is the next big thing, but we'll see. They're not advertising him right, in the sense of, like, they're finally are putting him more on television games, put him on Christmas night, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people learned about him. Like little things like that. So I don't know if this is gonna get fixed, but we'll see. I think that plays a factor though for sure.
Go ahead, Nate, and then Johnny will
I'm
close out with that
gonna
topic.
I'm gonna be honest. From my perspective, being a hoop fan, not just a Heat fan, I like watching hoops. Officiating is terrible. Officiating is terrible. That turns me away from even wanting to watch the games. You know what I'm saying? We can't get through the games. We got these terrible calls. All the players, everybody is looking for a foul every time they, you know, it's a crybaby league now. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think officiating is terrible. Um, and then also these 3-pointers. We
Nate, where
have
do you think
teams.
that comes from? In your estimation, Nate, where do you think that comes from when you talk about the officiating is bad? Like,
I,
the reason why I'm
I don't
asking you that is because we've lived in a freedom of movement era. So we go from a freedom of movement era to now guys are being able to put hands on guys just a little bit more, and I don't think that these guys have been able to adjust to that. So in terms of it's, so I think we're in a transition from the freedom of movement to now being a little bit more physical. So that's what I was asking you. Where do you think
yeah.
that comes from?
I have no idea. That's a great question, to be honest. Like it's I don't know if it's how they're how they're being trained, or you can definitely tell that they're trying to get back into like the hand checking and you know, stuff like that. But it's that has to play a part. But we have teams that are shooting 53s a game. You
The
know, like if we
Celtics
want,
average 51 threes a game. They do.
if
They average
if
51 a game.
if I want to watch a 3-point contest, I'll wait till February.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just I don't know. It's just like what you said. It's just we don't really have these stars to identify with, and everyone kind of looks like everyone else. Everyone's just jacking up these three. Anthony Edwards. I want to see Anthony Edwards dunk on somebody. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? But
I think you see that. I mean, I don't think that Anthony Edwards has gotten away from that. I just think
his
he's trying to
3-pointers.
expand his. I think he's expanding his game more than anything. That's why he's
He's
at the long ball line.
he's shooting a lot more threes than he's had throughout his career.
Sure.
And it's just that's what you're seeing now. It's just the product overall. Um, I, I don't know, man. It's just it needs to be. I don't. It needs to be fixed. But how do you fix it? How do you really truly fix this?
What needs to be fixed? Nothing needs to be fixed. What's wrong with y'all? I don't understand what y'all talking about. Listen, man, the NBA is fine. They don't have a viewership issue. They got a Zesty Jeffrey issue. That's the NBA's true problem. Okay? The NBA has plenty of stars. They have issues because ESPN and TNT doesn't promote their stars. How many times is Shaq talking bad about a big man? How many times is Barkley out here not explaining the game correctly and just telling you, well, I don't know, that's just terrible. They do a horrible job promoting the league. The NBA does no longer needs cable television, and even cable TV starting to recognize that. If I'm correct, Netflix just posted 65 million viewers watched the NFL on Christmas Day. That's half of the Super Bowl viewing, ladies and gentlemen. They don't get that on a regular Sunday afternoon for a football game. Streaming has taken away everything that you needed to know about ratings and television. You no longer need your television to watch entertaining product. So the NBA has a great product. They have great entertainment. Dunking is the 1900s. We're in 2025, ladies and gentlemen. We see a lot of dunking in the NBA. This guy just dunked on Ware today. I don't even remember his name, but he dunked on Ware.
What you call Larry Nance? Larry Nance.
That was Larry Nance. That was Larry Nance who did that. Okay, all right. Dunked on him. We got players dunking over players like LeBron James, still dunking over players left and right. The NBA is fine. We've never seen so much talent. The problem is that the people who are presenting the game to us is giving us the perception that it's bad basketball. And it's always been like this because there's too many Zesty Jeffreys and casuals that talk basketball now more than ever. We can't have these people on television saying Joker's a bad MVP. We can't have people on television saying they're shooting too many three-pointers. Why are you mad that these guys can shoot three-pointers? They can shoot them. They can shoot three-pointers better than they can dunk. That's you understand what I'm trying to say?
But the difference with that, though, Jay, and I get what you're saying, Jay. But the difference with that is that not everybody that brand of basketball was originated by the 7 seconds or less offense with the Phoenix Suns. They didn't win, but then it got enhanced with both Curry and Klay Thompson. You know, we live in a copycat league where once somebody's winning, now everybody thinks that they can do that. And now with Steph Curry, that's why James That's why James, for all intents and purposes, is still playing at almost 40 years old. Why? Because he recognized that this is the way the game's going. I need to start shooting the long ball because I can't keep putting my head down and going to the basket. I got to do that. KD was doing it. Kawhi Leonard was doing it. They all started doing it. And then this is what the league turned into. So now that this is what the league turned into, everybody thinks that they can shoot the long ball like Steph Curry. Everybody thinks that they're the Golden State Warriors. You're not. I watched the Chicago Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets shoot 95 threes, Jay, and miss 75 of them.
That was horrible.
I watched this team.
Okay, that's my point right there, Chill. Why no one mentions the game when they hit 48 3-pointers?
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up.
Why are we always talking about the 75 missed ones, but not the 48 made ones?
That's not true, Jay, because I said the same thing when the Celtics on opening night, when they shot 63s, and they just destroyed the Knicks, because that's their brand of basketball, and it works. And it 100% works. But that's not the only way to win. And I think that's the problem. I think everybody sees that this team is winning that way. We all have to do that. No, you don't. There's other ways to win. And this way right here works for them. That might not necessarily work for you, but it also means that you can win in another way. You don't have to shoot the ball 50, 60 times at the long ball line. You're not good enough to do that. And it makes not just the game, not just your game look bad, but it makes the overall game look bad because everybody now is starting to do it.
Chilltown, 18 teams shoot 35% or better from the three-point land. There's enough players and enough guys that can shoot the three-pointer. Let them shoot it. Trust me, they can shoot.
And I'm not arguing that. That's the part I'm not arguing. I'm not arguing that these guys can't shoot the long ball. What I am arguing is that not everybody can do it because it trickles down to a bad brand of basketball. Not for everybody, but for a lot of teams. And I don't mind the long ball, but there are other ways to win. And teams like the Charlotte Hornets or the Chicago Bulls, when I see them play against the Milwaukee Bucks, where they light it up and they make 43s, but then they turn around and miss 40 more threes. So, I mean, that variance is real tricky when you're trying to win like that. That's why not everybody can play like that.
So real quick, guys, right before we close, Chilltown, this has been the biggest question, that we've been having when it comes to the Miami Heat. Do you think that the big three Miami Heat, did they underachieve or did they overachieve?
I don't think they overachieved. Let's kill that logic right now. I think that they did. I think that the goal was to win the NBA championship, and I do think that they underachieved. Yeah, because that 2011 championship, they were up in that series. They should have beat Dallas, 100%. Now 2014, Wade was hobbled. Chris Bosh was not who Chris Bosh could have been. James was still awesome. I won't argue that point, but I feel like in 2011 they could have won that series. When you're up in a series, especially the way that they were up in that series, and to go to pieces the way that they did, yes, 100%. I believe they underachieved.
Nate, and then Trent, and then Johnny, and then we're gonna close out. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I believe that they underachieved. They at least should have won 3. At least that was a choke, and it wasn't on Wade. It wasn't on Wade. Wade did what he could in that series. So I think
they win that series, Wade is the Finals MVP.
Absolutely, and I hate LeBron for that.
So then it's on Wade then.
Hold on, Trent, go ahead, because of Johnny, you can close this out. Trent. All right, go ahead, Johnny.
Nah, nothing. Listen, y'all already know how I feel about my Heat, man. Y'all gonna ask me some crazy question about my Heat underachieved or overachieved. Any other team win 2 titles in 4 years and go to the finals 4 straight years in a row after just building a team out of scratch, out of thin air? Who knew you could build a team out of thin air like this and just go straight to 4 finals and win 2 back-to-back championships and then lose to a team that legitimately was so upset that they lost the year before? Their whole motivation in 2014 was to come back and beat you.
No, I don't fault them for that one.
No, I don't fault them for the 2011. The Heat should have never made the NBA Finals.
They shouldn't have been there?
No, they shouldn't have been there. They were under 500 versus every team in the league. Every team in the Eastern Conference above 500. They were 1-7 versus Chicago and Boston that season. They were not supposed to make the NBA Finals.
The fact that Chicago in the East Finals,
and that's why everybody forgets that. Everybody forgets how they overachieved by beating Boston and Chicago. So now it's relying. Well, you should get past Dallas. Well, no, it wasn't just that easy. They overachieved to even get to the NBA Finals that year. That's what LeBron was talking about. We signed guys on minimum veteran contracts, bro. Like, we had guys that we knew were not going to be on the roster the next year. That's why Eddie House was upset, because he knew he wasn't going to be on the 2012 Heat. He knew it. They had one shot for those guys. That was it.
But if you're gonna bring up James saying that they shouldn't have been in the finals, can we also bring up how?
No, I said he said that they had minimum players. He talked about how they filled out the roster with minimum players.
I'll bring it up because he said that he said that he was surprised they got to the finals that year. He said that.
He did. Okay, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, he's on record saying that he was surprised that he said that. I'm surprised that we got to the finals. But with that being said, if we're gonna do that, don't we have to do the same thing with guys talking about Eric Spoelstra, who will purposely do things throughout the course of the game to see if it works, and if it doesn't work and they lose, he's doing this as a learning lesson. So by the time we get to the playoffs, when we see the Chicago Bulls, and I'm going to switch LeBron James on the Derrick Rose, I do everything that you do, except I'm 6'9" and I outweigh you by 40 pounds, and I shut the door on you, which now shuts the door on your whole offense. I'm going to now implement that in what we're doing, as opposed to I'm going to bring that out in December. I'm going to bring that out in
you don't show your
February.
hand that early.
No, I agree. I agree that the Heat developed a play style and a cohesiveness throughout that season. They did get better later on in that year, but still, just as the opening night stated, when they asked Rondo, "Do you fear the Heat?" They were like, "No, we don't fear them," because again, you brought three guys together that no one knew that you could bring together in the first place, and then it just added. Remember, the Heat didn't have nobody on their roster. They basically cleared the whole roster. The only people they had left on the roster from that year prior was Chalmers and Beasley, and those were because they were rookies, and everybody else was re-signed. That came back from the year prior, and they brought in a couple of extra pieces just to fill out the roster. That's why the next season they had to change everything. They overhauled everything. Even Dwayne Wade was saying how during the season, in the middle of the game, even in the playoffs, LeBron James and him used to say, "Oh, well, you just had the last 5 possessions? Okay, it's my turn. I'll take 5 possessions." There was no real cohesiveness, no structure. They were just out there winging it off the talent of Dwayne Wade and LeBron James and how those two guys were playing with each other. And the fact that Bosh was also a good team player and they said, what do y'all need me to do? And I'll do that. But they still didn't have enough to actually win the championship that year. But they still overachieved in general. And mind you, they still could have won it. Imagine if they would have won it. That would have been a complete overachievement. Complete overachievement. There's no way you guys sit here and thought the Miami Heat were going to win 4 NBA championships. I don't know how y'all thought that. Y'all not basketball fans if y'all think that. Chill should know that better than anybody.
I didn't think they were going to win 4 straight. I knew that they weren't going to beat San Antonio. San Antonio was pissed.
Even 3 straight. You thought they were going to win 3 straight off the gate?
So
Joel
Anthony was on the crew the next year. Carlos Arroyo was on the crew next year. Michael Beasley, like you said, Mario Chalmers was on the crew. Udonis Haslem was on the crew. James Jones was on the crew the next year.
Jamal McGlure.
Jamal McGlure was on the crew the next year. Yeah,
we picked up Bibby. We picked up Bibby, House, Gauskas to fill out the roster. Just to fill out the roster.
And the Gauskas didn't even play.
Guys, remember the whole big thing, the whole reason Pat Riley knew he was going to have a chance to get those guys on that team in that offseason was because they were going to have a lockout in 2012. That was automatic. There was going to be a lockout. Everybody knew it. That's why LeBron told all the players, "Hey, just sign a 4-year deal and wait because we about to get paid." They about to, and they did a new collective bargaining agreement in 2012, and that's why he was able to add a Ray Allen, a Shane Battier, a Rashard Lewis, a Chris Anderson. That's how we built the championship team.
Yep.
So guys, thank you guys, for coming on the show. Trent, where can the people find you on YouTube?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube, Top Notch Hot Takes. It'll be Top Notch, and then Miami Heat Network. We're pushing to 5 and we're pushing to 15K. So I appreciate you guys.
Nate?
You can find me on Twitter at N8 from Ohio.
Go ahead, Johnny.
All right, y'all know who I am. Johnny the Exposer, GOAT James Kingdom, Biscayne in June, bitches.
Chilltown?
Chilltown Hoops on YouTube and Chilltown 32 on TikTok. That's where you can find me at.
Guys, make sure that you like, share, comment, subscribe. We definitely have to do this again so that we get hit on some more Miami Heat topics. Make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button. We're pushing to 6,000 subscribers. And thank you guys for all the support.
Much love and